Blood is simply one of the best first-person shooters ever made. There's no denying that. When I revisited the game as I was making my video on it, it still kept lingering in my mind even after I stopped a play session. The fast, silky movement, the satisfying gunplay, and the blend of horror and dark humor is what makes Blood so brilliant, and the game still holds up, 100%. I've outlined these points in my previous video, and even though I love Blood, I suck at it. I don't play on well done or anything like that, I stick to the medium difficulty and enjoy the game that way. However, the difficulty of the game isn't a negative or a turn off in the slightest, and in fact, Blood is the most fun when you're being pushed and you need to think about combat encounters more than another standard shooter. I say all of this because today we're taking a look at the first expansion released for Blood, and unfortunately, Cryptic Passage is mostly anything but brutal. Sunstorm Interactive released Cryptic Passage in June 1997, and although Post Mortem is the first expansion chronologically, Cryptic Passage came out beforehand. Now I wanted to say right off the bat that I don't think Cryptic Passage is a bad expansion, and most of the level design is more or less on par with the base game, but the enemy placement is a different story. Almost every location you visit in Cryptic Passage is interesting, and the expansion never really feels repetitive in that sense. The levels in this are just as compelling to explore as the original Blood, and I even prefer maps like the old Opera House to the base game city levels. Each level has a theme, sticks to it, and there's only a couple of maps that feel undercooked. Keep in mind though that this is a fairly short expansion, and I do feel like if they are going to make only 9 levels plus 1 secret level, there should be next to no fat or underwhelming maps, but that's just me. The Boat Docks is a great opening level to Cryptic Passage, and it's pretty lengthy compared to the other first levels in Blood's base campaign episodes. The atmosphere is immediately noticeable, and I love how the player needs to climb up this mountain here. The starry skybox with the large moon front and center stands out, and in the opening moments of this map, there is a lot to appreciate. The lamps guiding you up the mountain is a nice touch, and they lead you into this open cave etched into this cliffside. One thing I like about this level is the way that it gives you all of the weapons that you need right from the get-go. This is an expansion for Blood, and if you're playing Cryptic Passage, there's a pretty good fucking chance that you've already beaten the base game and have a good grasp on how the weapons work. The fact that they don't take their time with introducing the Tommy gun or the shotgun is welcomed, and it's something I really appreciate about this expansion. Also, quick side note, the room where you get one of the keys looks fantastic. The pile of bones on the ground, the chains attached to the cave ceiling, and the butcher knife on the chopping board are all great details. The skull key room is another well-designed area, as it features wood boarded up on the walls, and the selection of skulls that are casually resting on shelves. While the second half of the level is still quality with the lighthouse and the giant shark that's getting roasted above the fire, I think Boat Docks has its best set pieces in the beginning. However, the Guns Akimbo onslaught at the end is great. Even though I really enjoy this map, it's way too easy, and while yeah, it's the first level of the expansion, Cryptic Passage is following Blood's base campaign, which is already very hard. I wish they kept up the same pace with Cryptic Passage, and it's unfortunate to see such a drop in difficulty. The Boat Docks is more about atmosphere and the scope of the environment, which is fine, but whatever. The second level is located in an old opera house with surrounding city buildings that you can access. This level is a massive tribute to Phantom of the Opera, and many references can be found. Similar to the previous map, Old Opera House doesn't have many standout combat encounters, but just exploring the level is fun enough. There is a vintage pub near the Opera House building, and also a gun store where you can pick up some ammo and the Guns Akimbo power-up. These two buildings are pretty much salad dressing compared to the meat of the level, which is the Opera House, but that being said, there's still a lot to like about this map. Raising the stage curtains while mowing down cultists is cool. There's a section where you climb up to the top of the stage and you get to see these hanging corpses, and I like the basement area with the group of spiders and cobwebs stuck to the ceiling and walls. I think this level is good, but again, it's a little too easy. For the most part, Cryptic Passage has well crafted and impressive looking maps, but it doesn't ever reach the same difficulty spikes as the base game, and that's disappointing because this is continuing on from it. However, that's not inherently a strike against Old Opera House, and more so a criticism of the game as a whole. Gothic Library is a small, compact level with some effective combat traps here and there. The objective of this level is rather straightforward, since the player needs to press a couple of hidden buttons to get to the exits, and I wasn't really expecting that. With a name like Gothic Library, I was expecting the map to be way more exploratory for some reason, but you can breeze past this level in only a few minutes. That being said, the combat encounters really save this level from feeling like filler. The part where you are trapped in this enclosed space with the bookshelves and a bunch of zombies coming after you is great, and it makes you use your movement speed and jump ability well. Also, there's a trap that springs later on in the level when you hit one of the buttons, where multiple fanatics swarm the player, and this is a good little set piece. Gothic Library is short and to the point, but it deserves to be included in this expansion at the same time. The fourth level of Cryptic Passage is called Lost Monastery, and it's pretty solid. There's nothing groundbreaking here, but the location looks nice, it has that classic blood medieval gothic aesthetic, and that's pretty much it. I did get my shit wrecked in this one section with the cultists on the other side of this bridge here, but that was the only real challenging moment in the level. Steamboat is much more interesting than the last map, and it follows the same basic formula as the train level in the base game. You're going through this boat, flicking switches, and killing tons of cultists. I love the variety of locations in this level, even though yes, it is just a steamboat. This level includes a bar area with wooden walls and slot machines, but then the level switches up and the player gets to explore the steam room where everything operates. These two areas contrast heavily with one another, and I'm all for it. The next level is Classic Blood. The graveyard is a perfect setting for blood, and there's some little combat encounters that will throw off first time players, like these cultists to the left and right of you. Besides that, this first graveyard area is pretty run and gun heavy, and it's not until you get up to the crypt where you get thrown more difficult enemies. This level places fanatics and cultists quite well, as they are tucked away in obscured areas and then they start blasting away as you move into their line of sight. It shows that Sunstorm Interactive at least had a general idea of how to use Blood's enemy roster, but I wish that they placed even more monsters in these levels. I want more cultists in initially hard to see areas. I want more zombies ambushing the player in the first graveyard section, etc. Still though, Graveyard is a quality blood map, and it's quite lengthy as well. If you go through the secret exit, you wind up at Boggy Creek, which is a level that I have mixed opinions on. It has nice monster placement, it has a great hub level design approach, the level's aesthetic looks fantastic with the grey and green primary colour scheme, but it's way too fucking short. Boggy Creek is over before you know it, and I know that I said that Gothic Library is small and how that's a good thing, but that was one of the first levels of the entire expansion. This is a secret map, so I was kind of expecting something more from it. That being said, the way that this level clumps together a group of zombies is great, the spider boss being placed in the cellar with the cobwebs is awesome, and the Gillman assault after you collect the skull key is unexpected and fun. I wish that there was more gameplay in this level, as Boggy Creek is a bit of a letdown. I will mention that the way that the Gillmen spawn in after you collect a required item is not really like Blood, but more of a Doom or Shadow Warrior quirk. They pull off this type of trap all throughout Cryptic Passage, and I'm personally a fan of it, since it breaks away from the Blood formula a bit, and I'm glad that Sunstorm did its own thing here with the combats. Mountain Pass is the worst level in Cryptic Passage. Some of the spaces you move around in are so wide that the enemies don't even get a chance to gang up on you or surprise you in any way. Also, the platform that moves back and forth takes forever, and when you finally do get on it, you have to wait another 30 seconds for it to go to the other side. That is such an annoying element of this level, and I wish it was replaced by a narrow bridge or something that the player has more control over. Additionally, this level feels objectiveless, like I just collect a few keys randomly and I'm at the exit, it feels like. There doesn't seem to be any rhyme, reason, or flow to Mountain Pass, which is a shame. Fortunately, the final two levels in Cryptic Passage make up for it, and they provide us with a taste of the brutal difficulty that we expect. The penultimate level gears you up for the final map of Cryptic Passage. There's plenty of enemies to take care of, the level feels like it's taking visual elements from all of the other maps so far in the expansion, and they blend it all into level 8, Abysmal Mine. As for the last level, it begins with a minecart ride, which is always nice. The castle reminds me a lot of Castlevania, and the outside of it is packed with a group of cultists, which is dickish placement, but it's blood, so I'm all for it. The section where you get the invisibility power up and then murder this entire room of cultists, fanatics, and zombies is very enjoyable, and overall, Castle is one of the better levels of Cryptic Passage. This is one of the only times that I really felt pushed and challenged in the expansion, which on the one hand, I'm glad that the last level is difficult, but also more levels in Cryptic Passage should have been like this. Before the end boss, you slip down into this incredible Egyptian-looking arena floating in outer space. I love it, and the way that the player is taken to this arena by going through this portal and riding this magic platform ship thing is fantastic. Cryptic Passage is one of those expansions that I find difficult to recommend. The map design, the locations that you visit, and the details in the environments are top notch, and in my opinion, it rivals some of the best work from the base game. However, if you are looking for that hard challenge factor that Blood typically offers up, then Cryptic Passage will disappoint you because it isn't that difficult until the final couple of levels. Also, the actual monster placement is a little too spaced out. That being said, there is still quite a lot to like about Cryptic Passage, and if you want some cool looking levels to run around in, then I'd say play it. If you want levels that directly build on Blood's insane difficulty, then I would just play Post Mortem instead.